And I was like, I just want to go to bed.
I'm tired just as much as you are. I gotta go into the office tomorrow. I gotta go to Redmond tomorrow.
We good.
We're not good.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. We're talking to you guys about Love is Blind, dealing with episode 9, talking about Jackelina and Marshall. And I want to break this down. Now, I'm no coach, I'm no therapist, sorry. I do coach people, but I'm not a therapist. But I'm going to break this all the way down from a psychological point of view because I've seen this before. Okay, this is what we call on this channel dark arts. Okay, this is what we call on this channel particular thing. We call it the dark arts. Okay,
take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
I'm here to show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Okay, so that's my job today. All right, cool. Let's break it all the way down in terms of why I believe that Jacqueline manipulates Marshall, and she did it in episode 9 by saying to him, I just love me, right? And I'm going to play that clip in a bit or two. So stick with us, and we're going to break that down a little bit later on. So if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is. You got the minerals. You got a mineral. Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. All right, let's get into this video. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's enjoy a different perspective about what's happening with Jackelina and Marshall. Let's watch a little bit more of the scene here.
I need to know exactly what you require from me so that I can move forward.
What I told
Oh, damn. Internet's trying to move mad with me.
you, what I required from you, is the reason why you left.
Okay, so their conversation starts off with talking about the night before and saying obviously the reason why he left was because she said obviously the reason what I need from you is the reason why he left, which is I need you to be more aggressive. I need you to be more, really what she means to say is she needs him to be more assertive and needs him to be more dominant. And we can break that down on another video. But if you want the short answer of that, the reason why she wants him to be more dominant and be more assertive is because she takes on that role within her family. What we heard from her earlier on in the season, I think episode 5, when he's cooking the pancakes, it might be episode 7, so I apologize, is that when he's cooking the pancakes, she tells him about the fact that her family is on her neck and the fact that she's having to provide, the fact that she's having to, be the caretaker of her family. And so by that, and also whatever's happened in her history of childhood, she doesn't want to be in that position. Let's leave it at that because I can talk about it on another video. I don't want to break that separately. And hopefully you guys join our lives that we do during the course of next week as well, every day about Love is Blind. But in all seriousness, in this situation, he wants to have a conversation. And I'll be honest with you, it might not be the best time to have a conversation. They're still a little bit drunk, a little bit tipsy from the night before, for the night. I know he wants to talk about it now, but she has a different repair gate. What I mean by that is she has a different time when it comes to wanting to talk about issues. So sometimes this happens to couples. In fact, a lot of times it does. One person wants to sort it out now, the other person wants to sort it out later. And what you have to do is find a happy medium between the two of you. So it's like, okay, if you like things in 3 hours and I like it right now, let's both agree on an hour and a half. And we're coming back and we talk about it, right? So that may be a good compromise. Or let's talk about it in an hour's time. All right, cool. Right, so that's a good compromise. In this situation, he wanted to talk about it now because it was irking him right now and it was frustrating right now. And it's actually how arguments actually start off the more and how arguments go left, because people are in their emotional arousal state and they can't actually have the argument, or they can't actually disagree with that person without it be escalating because the emotions are raging at that moment. But let's continue a little bit more and then we'll talk about what we're talking about right now.
But I'm not saying that shit again.
So what are the examples though?
She said there's a flag on the plate. There's a flag on the plate.
I know midnight, bro.
I don't want to talk about this right now. There's a flag on the plate. Now, I don't want to address this too deep. I want to go straight now to specifically what I believe the actual issue between the two of them. What I wanted to address was the comment that she made, because this comment is really important because it shows, again, where the manipulation, I believe, is for our good sis Jacqueline. Let's play this little clip here.
I think you are a great guy. I think you're so sweet. Just love me.
What did she just say? Just what? Just love me. Now, I'm going to tell you why I believe this is manipulation, because she hasn't really got much of an intention of giving it back. And she just wants to have his love. The reason why she chose Marshall and not Josh is because Marshall was willing to show her love and vulnerability, and he was willing to show her what a safe haven is. With Josh, he didn't want to express his feelings or his sentiments about that. And his only thing was, if you don't choose me, I'm going to go. He didn't actually show any vulnerability. The reality of this situation is Jackie sees Marshall as her better half, as in her better future, as in her potential. If she can heal, this is where she'd want to be. But she's not in that space right now. She's still broken. She still needs self-work. And so she chose what was better for her, but could not stay with the better because it made her feel inadequate and made her feel insecure. I've said this before in previous reviews. But added to that, what's also happening in amongst the situation is that when you're toxic, and she is very self-aware because she told us herself, she told Marshall, I'm not good, I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm concerned about me, not you. She knows exactly what she actually is. And when you're in your toxic bag, sometimes, if not most times, if you're self-aware, you don't want to be in a healthy relationship. You know why? Because that healthiness will out you even more and mean there will be more light upon your darkness of ignorance, and it will shine a light for you to change. Otherwise, you end up being the bad guy. And the reality is, human beings, if they're not narcissistic, don't want to be the villain. Nobody wants to be the bad guy, right? So when you start highlighting a light on somebody and showcasing them as the villain, they start shirking and jiving. And the reality here we see with Jackelina is she doesn't want to be the villain. She doesn't want to look in the mirror and see herself as the ogre, as the monster in this situation. So what she's doing is manipulating Marshall so that she doesn't look like the bad guy. So now we got situations where she'll gaslight or try to use tears or, try to have have emotional breakdowns. And all of this stuff ends up pulling Marshall back in again. It pulls Marshall to try and cover her. So I discuss Marshall's issues. We don't need to go into that again. Now, Marshall represents what is good about her and what good she'd want to be. Okay, so that's why she chose him in that respect, right? And Marshall represents the love she knows she deserves and wants, but never had. She's in a family where I guess there's a lot of dysfunctionality, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility upon her neck within this family. Her father has also a cancer. She's having to be the provider for the family. This is putting undue stress on her. And, she said she's never been treated right by past partners. That tells me that you probably weren't treated right in your childhood too, so you can't recognize what's good and what's really bad. And this also takes sometimes experience for some of us to go through certain situations and relationships where we pick up experience enough to know this is what I need and this is what I want in a relationship. And what we see from Jackelina is that she actually owns up to this and said, I haven't been treated like this before. Cooking pancakes, liking me, you showing love to me, you covering me, giving me grace. These are things I never really experienced before. So he represents the love she knows she deserves and wants, but never had. Which is why episode 4, when she says, you're everything I need and also want. The need aspect she's talking about is the fact that she's never had that. So what she do? She tells Marshall, just love me. Just love me. Why? Because that's all she wants from Marshall. Just to be loved. And Marshall is the recipient person. Sorry, Marshall is the giver in this instance. She doesn't care how it comes. Just let it come. Pause. You know what I mean? She wants this love to come her way, right? And so that's a stark reality, unfortunately, with Jackelina. She wants the love that Marshall has, okay? And she'll do whatever it takes to get it until she's fed up and ready to leave, all right? Until she's fed up and ready to leave. So this point here.
Just love me.
Never give up.
Just love me. Why isn't her comment, let's love each other? Why is her comment not saying, I love you? Have you noticed she hasn't said I love you? Have you noticed that she hasn't said I love you? Have you noticed that she ain't said I love you? That note was off, but don't worry about that. You know what I mean? Don't worry about that. Okay. Have you noticed she hasn't said I love you? There's a reason, because she doesn't love him. And two, he told her he loved her from jump. She has found somebody who loves her more, and she's taken advantage of it, because the reality is what he has, she wants, and by all means, she'll take it. Right? So she found somebody that loves her more, and instead of actually reciprocating, responding, this is why we had a conversation about on the channel between men and women. We said, when a man loves you more, this is what women will end up doing. They will end up taking advantage of you. And when a woman loves you more, people end up taking advantage of them. The reason being because you don't love them equivocally. You don't love them equally. You don't love them back the same. You don't have the same appreciation for them. And thus, this leads to inequality and unbalanced scales when it comes to care. And when care is involved, it involves power. If I care less, I'm more than likely to have more power in this scenario. Right? With humans anyway, not with God, but with humans. Okay. So she has no fear of him leaving. She has no fear of him abandoning her. She has no fear of him going away. None. She knows he's going to stick it out because he was so quick to tell her he loved her. And she stress tested him by saying about how Josh said what he said. And she knew. And when he went and had a conversation with Josh, she knew, I've got him underneath my thumb. Now, it might not be as calculating as that exactly in the moment, but trust me, running on the subconscious level, that's exactly how it's being played. There are decisions being made. All right. So Jackelina saying, I just love me. That's all she wants for Marshall. Just love me, right? Without giving it back, without the work that's needed to give it back, without the work that's about being a recipient, but also at the same time being a giver. She doesn't want to be able to give that back, right? She doesn't want to. So in reality, this is what we're seeing now with them. All right. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. We'll see you again very soon for another